Hi guys, welcome to my May monthly reading wrap up. I know I just posted a reading wrap up literally yesterday, but I'm trying to keep ahead on my wrap up. We're gonna do my May wrap up while we're at it, baby. This is gonna be a little bit of a different styled video. If you don't follow Just Allie here on YouTube, I think she's an amazing booktuber. She does her reading wrap ups by once she finishes the book. She will talk about it, and I think that's so much easier than me trying to sit down and recollect every single book that I've read in the month, especially since if I've read a lot, it's a little hard for me to remember and I don't have the best memory. All credits for this kind of style go to her. Go subscribe to her. She seems very sweet and very nice, and I really like her videos. But before that, I didn't plan accordingly until I was like, wait, I should do that. So I did read some books that I didn't film, so let's talk about them. First book that I read in May was The Mistake by Elle Kennedy. This is part of the Off-Campus series. If you don't know what the Off-Campus series is, it's like a hockey romance story between all these friends. So each book is a different friend and their romance story. So the first one that I read was The Deal, and the second one right here is about the friend Logan, and his romance is called, her name is Grace. This is a second chance romance, which means that something happened for one of them to feel some type of way like, I don't want to be with you no more, and now one of them is giving them a second chance in the romance category. I don't really like this one. She has like the biggest crush on him, and she does all of this stuff with him. I'm not trying to, okay, I sound like I'm trying to slut shame. Okay, maybe I shouldn't say that. I'm not trying to slut shame or anything. I just think that's a little, maybe it's not unrealistic. I don't know. I just personally would not want to start a romance based off like sex, like just attraction towards each other, no emotional feelings towards each other, and then all of a sudden he has emotional feelings towards her. I don't know. It's just not my favorite. I ranked this 2 stars. Big difference from The Mistake and The Deal. I just thought their romance was not good. To me, it was boring. It was just okay. Like, I don't know. It's not my favorite. It's not my favorite romance story at all. The next book I read was One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. I actually really enjoyed the story. It's about this girl named August, and she is moving to New York, and she is just kind of balls to the walls, kind of just going to New York, finding an apartment with all these random people. And one day she is going on the subway and she sees this girl, and she's like, wait, that girl's like really cute and I really think she's kind of cool. And then some stuff happens and she kind of meets this girl named Jane, and she gets to know Jane a lot, but the only time she sees Jane is on the subway, which she kind of thinks is a little strange. And I'm not going to tell you much else about this because I never read the back of the book, and it was a complete and total surprise of what one thing happened, and I'm not going to say it. I listened to the audiobook of the story. I didn't actually read it, but I still genuinely enjoyed it because, one, I just love Casey McQuiston's writing. It's very funny, it's very witty, it's very realistic. Like, this is how teenagers talk nowadays. I love all the characters in this story. The only part that I say is I feel like sometimes her books are a little bit too long for like no reason. Like, you could cut some of the words down in the story and it would, or a couple like things in the story, and it would be like, yeah, that's good. Like, some of the stuff in there does not need to be put in there, but still, I really liked the story. It was really, really good. I really liked the characters and the romance. As like a romance as a whole, not my favorite, but like I think the characters really made up for it. So I gave it a 4 stars. The next book I have is These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. This is part of a duology, which I will talk about later on. This is a retelling of Romeo and Juliet, except in this one, it is based off in Shanghai, China, where in like the 1920s, Roma and Juliet are part of rival gangs, and they're both heirs to those rival gangs. There's more drama than just them not liking each other and whatever. There is also these things going around, like this kind of monster that is affecting all of the population of Shanghai, and like all of these people are getting killed. So Roma and Juliet kind of have to team up and kind of figure out what's going on, where is this monster coming from, and how are all these people dying from it. There are foreigners coming into their country, so they're also trying to kind of fend off the foreigners and kind of reclaim Shanghai again. So I really enjoyed the story. The story was so good. Duology as a whole was so amazing, and it's so worth the hype. I really enjoyed it. And I just love a good Romeo and Juliet retelling. The characters are good, the story is amazing, the romance is such an enemies to lovers romance. It's insane, and I really enjoyed it. And it's a YA fantasy novel. I love YA fantasy with romance. It's my shit. I ranked it a 4 stars. It's a really good story. And yeah, so now I'm going to be telling you guys my books that I've read in real time now. So let's get on to it. I just finished Our Violent Ends. I just finished Our Violent Ends by Chloe Gong, which is the second book of the These Violent Delights duology. Sorry, I can't talk right now. I just chased my dog for like 6-7 minutes and now I'm out of breath. Like I said, I just finished this. Like I've been sitting here for a hot second just like processing everything. Can I say this book is fantastic? It is so good. I was not bored at all. There was always something like you were pining after Roma. Is it Roma? Roma and Juliet's love. You were like having that enemies to lover steamy action. It wasn't steamy. It was not steamy. It's very YA friendly. I would totally recommend reading These Violent Delights, both of the books. The first book's good. This book is so good though. This book was like exactly like, ooh, I was eating it up. Like, ooh, yes. There are some like little mysteries that you have to kind of figure out because the characters don't quite know what's going on. And I did call a couple things, but it was so good. This is definitely going to be 5 stars for me. First book, I think was 4 stars, but this, I'm like absolutely obsessed with this ending and everything. This was such a good book. Definitely going to be a 5-star book. I definitely recommend reading These Violent Delights duology. I'm sorry, I'm done gushing about this book, and let's go on to the next book. I just finished Funny You Should Ask by Elisa Sussman. Elisa? Is it Alyssa or Elisa Sussman? Okay, let's talk about this. So I saw this book all over TikTok. I actually remember, I'll try to insert this. I had a very vivid TikTok of this lady basically being like, this is the best book ever. I've read 80 books and this is the top 5 best books I've... Lady, I'm sorry, what the hell are you reading? Not saying that this book is necessarily bad, and it's not the worst book I've ever read, but it's definitely not my cup of tea kind of story. It's about this girl named Hani. I think it's Chani, I don't know, who is a reporter or a writer, and she is interviewing this really famous guy who's going to be playing the next James Bond, named Gabe. And so happenly that Gabe is like her celebrity crush. Like if she had like a freebie, or if she ever was like, I love you to a celebrity, it was this guy. She's obsessed with this person that she's going to interview. She's seen all of his other interviews. She knows everything about him, like whatever, you get it, right? And it's a dual timeline, so it'll go from when they first met, when they were first doing this big interview that blew up her career and it blew up his career, and it jumps from that to 10 years later in the future, or present day, I guess. They're doing another interview to kind of relaunch his career again because something happened, and now he's kind of getting back into acting again, and it's now relaunching his career. So, can we say how cute this book cover is? It's super cute. I do really like the book cover. It was really slow for me at the beginning. I think I got maybe 80 pages in, and then finally I was like, oh, this is like kind of good. It's like picking up. And I was thinking, I'm like, wow, this is gonna maybe be like a 4-star read now. Like, it was kind of slow, but that's okay. And I'm like, maybe this is a good 4-star read. It's not like 5 stars, but maybe a good 4 stars. It's definitely we'll talk about it more. Talking about the 2 main characters really fast. So there's Hyani, I think that's how you say it, Chani. Hyani is like the writer and like the interviewer. She wants to be this big writer and famous writer and whatever. The thing is, in between, you like get to read some of her writing, and her writing is so bad. It's like, I could have wrote this when I was in like 7th grade. Like, the actual main, like the main character in this book, you get to read her interview. Her actual writing style is so bad. Her writing was terrible. It was not good. You're right, bitch. You're not a good writer. So let's just stop from there. It wasn't good. I didn't like her writing style in this. And she kept saying, I'm not a good writer. And then have all these people come up to her and be like, you know, you're the most amazing writer ever. And I'm like, bitch, you right. You're not a good writer. You should stop. It is very repetitive. This story is very repetitive. I feel like the same points were being brought up like so many pages. It would talk about like how, and it's just talking about their insecurities. And I totally get that. Like, everyone has their own insecurities and they talk about them, but they talk about these insecurities so much throughout the story that I was like, we get it. We get it. She doesn't think she's that good of a writer. He doesn't think he deserves to be playing James Bond. Like, we get it. I was just kind of over it at that point. And we talked about these insecurities so much throughout the story. Even 10 years later, they were still having these same damn insecurities. I was so over it. Plus, I just found their romance to be okay. Like, they don't really like, and she kind of points it out in the story that they don't really know each other that well. I just don't think their romance was anything like to swoon over, and I don't think it was realistic, but there were some good parts. I will give it. That's why I did not like rank it like super low, like a 2 or a 1. It's definitely a good like mid kind of book for me. I did like, there was a really good there was a good point where I was like eating this up and I was like, okay, we're getting somewhere, we're doing something good. Like, I love this now. Like, this is gonna be 4 stars. And then the ending happened and I didn't really like it. This is a 3-star book for me. Not much else to it. So yeah, so let's see what else I got. Hi, don't comment on how I look right now. I'm all looking rough. I got burnt while I was on vacation and it hurts to put anything on right now. So if I look naked, it's because I am. Just kidding, I'm not. But it hurts, okay? So shut up. But I'm going to be talking about the 2 books that I read on vacation. So the first book I read was Book Lovers by Emily Henry. This is her newest book that just came out, and I am obsessed with it. It's really good. It's not my favorite book that she's done. I still really, really enjoyed it. It's about this girl named Nora. She is a literary agent, and she is like the typical like snarky, down to business, like workaholic type boss bitch lady that she is. And it kind of talks about how like all her old boyfriends are these guys that go off to small towns and then find a girl in the small town and fall in love with the girl, and she's like the bossy girlfriend. It kind of reminds me of like The Parent Trap, like low-key, like in the sense that she's Meredith from The Parent Trap, if you get it. And then she meets this guy called Charlie. He is also a literary agent, or no, I think he's just a editor for books. He is like really snarky and grumpy. It's definitely like a grumpy kind of trope. And it also kind of talks about a family aspect. Nora has her sister named Libby, and Libby is also very prevalent in this story. The 2 sisters go off to a place called Sunshine Falls and just kind of have this small town kind of vibe and just kind of hang out as sisters, because Nora kind of feels like they're kind of drifting apart a little bit, so it's like a good like sisters trip. And they also meet Charlie along the way, and it's just so cute. I really enjoyed this book. It's not my favorite Emily Henry book, but I still gave it 4 stars. I still really enjoyed it. I will always say this, Emily Henry's banter is the best and most authentic, I feel like, witty banter that I have ever read in all of her books. In all of the books that I've read from her, I think her like conversations with the characters make them, 1, feel super real, and 2, it's just so fun to read. It makes it go by fast, and I really, really enjoyed it, and I really liked it. So this is the first book I read. And then the second book I read, I actually read this in like a day or something. This is The Unhoneymooners by Christina Lauren. I also found out that Christina Lauren is two people, and this is just like a pen name. I did not know that. This is about a girl named Olive, and she considers herself to be super unlucky and just super like, she broke a mirror or something and she got like all these bad luck. And she is at her twin sister's wedding reception, where everyone has received food poisoning except for Olive, and the guy that she most despises is the groom's big brother, Ethan. As luck would have it, her twin sister tells her to go ahead and take their honeymoon trip to Hawaii, but the catch is Ethan is also tagging along, which Olive cannot stand. So it's about these two people kind of getting to know each other again and trying to tolerate each other for the trip, and some twists and turns take it. And you just gotta read this to kind of figure out what happens. Their love story is super cute. I actually really genuinely enjoyed it. However, I do kind of feel like the romance in this one, this one always is like harder for me because technically it's like enemies to lovers, but the guy doesn't really despise her as much as the girl does. The girl despises him more, I think. And it always like, it's like a 180 for me whenever the girl's like, wait a minute, I think I do like you. But like, whatever, kind of, I don't know. It's still really good. I really enjoyed this. I would definitely recommend reading it. I gave it 4 stars. I had 2 really great reads for my trip. And if you want to watch my trip, the vlogs are coming soon on my second channel, so go read them. So go watch it. This is it. And let's go on to the very last things that I read. Hi, it's me again. I did not read another book after those 2 books, but I just wanted to end this video. If you guys like this style of a wrap up, please let me know. I feel like it's more interesting than just kind of sitting here and talking to you. But if you like the other styles better, let me know. Thank you for watching. And I'll see you in another video. Goodbye.